Hey, You Will Make It TV, follower, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for clicking on another live segment. Tuning in with us. Another live discussion post topic on things I just feel like we can all learn from, gain from, experience ourselves, right? I think some people think it's just something about what another person go through. And yes, God will allow you to literally face obstacles and hurdles that look impossible or look hard to clear. But that's the thing about them extending to the world a word of advice to try and try again until you succeed. And somehow even that today has been made to look, I guess, criminalistic. Like, since when is it criminalistic to try and try and try again until you succeed? Especially if it's for positive things. So maybe some people feel like no, certain burdens should stop you. I don't disagree with people feeling that way. That's their opinion. Like, no, if I had this burden, I would have gave this up. All people can do is judge the way you juggle your balls. But we all have them. You can judge like, no, I think she should have went in the left motion. I think she should have went in the right motion with the circular. I mean, because juggling is holding all of it at the same time, and it's always been entertainment for people. It's really crazy to think about. Like, literally, the act of juggling is in circuses, things to do with entertainment. But it's true. In life, we juggle things. You shouldn't have to, right? Nobody deserves that. But you might have to survive. I'd rather be grateful for the opportunity to juggle something, juggle a few things. Because if you're not here at all, just non-existent, there's nothing to juggle for sure. But I wanted to at least open this segment with some inspirational words for you guys out there. Happy Wednesday to the world. I thought I would still squeeze in a live topic here, especially when I saw this one news story on the news. It was just kind of crazy again, because how do two families end up having to find themselves in the middle of some type of lawsuit, or maybe wanting to sue the school district? It's not like it's never happened before. I'm sure people had to sue school districts for different reasons. Everybody's story different, but the kids do matter. You see what I'm saying? I don't know, but that's why I'm here with my commentary and reaction, just my opinions today, and some positive, influential, inspirational words, especially because sometimes seeing these kind of stories only shows some of us that it could happen to any of us. It's like, why would somebody just be like, oh, how unfortunate for that family, or for that person, or for that man, or for that woman? An unfortunate event could happen to anybody. That's where it'd be hard for me to relate to people. I'm not finna judge somebody over something that happened to them. Some things happen to us because of choices we make. It was a risk before you made the choice. You see what I'm saying? Some people are aware of the risk on the other side of choices, some aren't. That's the point of a risk, too. Because most time, if it's a risk, you knew what could be the potential effects or whatever on the other side. I do believe that's true. See, juggling, we know a risk with juggling anything is you could drop the ball on one thing. So I wouldn't just want to juggle anything. You see what I'm saying? At least make sure what you're juggling is worth juggling. Come on now, juggling is not easy work. So if you want to be you want to be one of the balls in somebody's juggling show, you better make sure you're worth being juggled. Because some people, that's just how much they're carrying. Most people today, there's a lot of things to juggle. We just don't look at it that way. But juggling is juggling, and that's just a risk of it. If that's something you enjoy to do, or something you even have to do, I'm sorry. Whether you're a good person or bad person, the potential risk is there for you to drop the ball on something, unless you're just one of the best jugglers. You see what I'm saying? You're very rarely drop the ball on anything. And some people are aware of that. With some people, like, yeah, that's a juggling person. Some people believe you should just walk a straight line. That ain't easy either. You could be the best walker and still end up falling off the line a little bit. It's called losing balance. The same thing with juggling. Why am I talking about juggling as an inspirational, insightful topic today with homeschool and what these families are facing, having to sue the school district and stuff like that? Because homeschooling parents know before anybody that that's another thing you juggle. That's why I say just make sure what you're juggling is worth it. You don't mind carrying the weight if it's for your kids. If it's, come on now, like things that's really, really close to you, you don't mind juggling it. Come on now, you love your car, but you love your home, but you love so you would juggle all those bills, wouldn't you? If people could overpay their bills or just pay them way ahead of time, there would be no concept of juggling bills, right? I'm trying to give like examples of what I'm talking about. Juggle means juggle. I don't care what it is. I would say make sure, this is a word of inspiration, make sure what you juggle is worth being in the circle of balls in your hand. You see what I'm saying? Like, why would you juggle unnecessary amounts? You can only juggle so many, right? Or unless you get to a point of growth where it's like, yeah, I can juggle 40 things at one time. That's what you call a boss for real, like a leader. Look at Donald Trump. I just wonder how much he has to juggle on a day-to-day basis. Some positions, some things that we have to do depending on who you are. Oh yeah, juggling is a sport. It was a sport before I said that, but it's just crazy how the message just be coming to me naturally though. Like literally, that's why I start laughing at myself. Juggling is a sport, dude, but just imagine people doing this with actual things in their life. Like another thing, if you have multiple kids, you are juggling all of them, and it's not a sport that you feel like putting down. You're a parent forever. So I understand these parents that are being more proactive, because I don't know why the school districts and stuff is making people feel like they can't speak up for their kids. And I didn't name any specific ones, so people saddle down. I didn't come here to do that. On my topics, I do not come out here to blast anybody. I know people like getting clout for doing that, but that's not what I have to do to bring a insightful discussion topic to the table. We know that there's school districts all over the world. It doesn't matter. School districts should always, whatever happened along the way, where them and the school districts and the actual parents cannot see eye to eye no more, that's a problem. See, in some states lately, they've had protests, and it's like the youth and other people involved just to, because maybe we do. It's crazy. Like, do the youth have to? They need to be listened to, too. This is You Will Make It TV. Remember to hit the subscribe bell to show your support. But, yeah, if kids want to write letters to the school, letters to the teachers, letters to the staff, letters to the coaches, letters to the superintendents, yeah, they should be encouraged to do that. Like back in my day, if you want to make a change in your school or in your district, like that's why we had groups like Student Council or NJHS. You didn't have to be in any of those school clubs to maybe bring the ideas forth and stuff like that. It was definitely more welcomed, I would say, to me, in my opinion. Like even being a kid, I remember that. Now they wasn't promised they can make every change y'all want as the high school students or as the middle school students, because we was just fun kids like that. Like if you want to you want to see a new program at your school, a new idea, whatever it was, we could open our mouths and ask without feeling I don't know, just disregarded, because listening is more than just whole disregarding it. It's more like, what are you trying to hide when you disregard a whole meeting, a whole that's what PTA is for. And these things where the parents can come and give their opinion, what are they called? Like they host these town meetings and stuff sometimes, like with the school districts too, when they think changes should be made. What is the very last time we saw this on the news? And it was a big deal in a lot of states, is when the kids were kind of mandated to wear face masks to school. Yeah, a lot of parents were coming to those meetings, to those PTA meetings, but it shouldn't take just you seeing something you don't like to come there. Come there all the time. I would say if they're in public school, yeah, it's nothing wrong with being as what is that called? As active as you would like to be in your child's life while they attend your school. My problem is, in my opinion, before I even go into talking about this story, you guys can go look it up yourself. But yeah, it's some families finna attempt to sue a school district or two because they're homeschool families and they feel like sometimes their how do you say it? Like their rights are being kind of overstepped. They want to know why. Why so much harassment, so much hassle, so many questions and people you got to give your business to just because you are homeschooling. But I would say people should, I got a lot of opinions about it. People should actually be I'm not going to say being harassed is okay, but them still checking on your kids because they're homeschooled, there's nothing really wrong with that if you ask me. But overstepping people's rights and territories and boundaries, we all know that that's a whole total different thing. Maybe they should in the state say, yeah, this is a order now. We will call every 45 days and check on the families and children of homeschools. I think that would be great, actually. But see, these families are describing something totally different. Like they feel like they are using social workers, nurses. Because see, there's more staff than teachers at school, y'all. Any job you go to, everybody has a different position. I'm just saying, the same applies for schools. Everybody has a different position, you see? So that's these families kind of what they were raising their voices about. Like, hey, we feel like y'all using the different positions in the school. Not saying we, as in me particularly. I'm talking in third person. Trying to describe how these parents in this news story were feeling. Maybe I'll share the link in the comment section. I used to do that on my segments when I first started coming out doing more live segments, because sometimes people like to go see where they can look up the article or whatever. Because this is real. This is real news. I forgot what state I saw this was in, because that stuff matters too. Depending on what state you're in, that's why we like to do those informational live segments here at You Will Make It TV too. We don't all walk the same shoes, but some of these segments will be for us that do. You see what I mean? Not everybody is a homeschool parent. Okay, so this wouldn't be a probably insightful topic to other people who just send their kids to school every day. Okay, so they just feel like the staff of the school just continue to use other staff and other people that don't even work in the schools. Okay, because what is a mandated reporter? There's somebody who swears to tell if they see signs of, that a child might need help when they're at the schools and in the school facilities and after school, any of that. But I never thought the days would come to this, that you have to ask yourself, now, wait a minute, like when it comes to these mandated reporters and stuff, are they, like, let's not pretend that they cannot, that it's like it's 100% impossible for them to abuse their positions, because if something like that going on too, that's stupid. How do investigations and cases and stuff get open to begin with when the kids are involved? I just thought this was an interesting topic, so I had to come give my reaction and commentary real quick. Happy birthday to me again, guys. Anybody who wants to be a blessing, send some love. However you want to. Maybe you'll be moved to do that like that. But the Cash App is $poetic quote. That's all I left off saying was, what if, I just said that though, mandated reporters should not ever, they want to be careful. That's all I want to say. Like, be careful, feeling like you can use your position to just get people investigations open and all that stuff started on a family Now, these families feel like it's specifically because they chose to transition to homeschool. In the state of Florida, news reports have updated for the 25-26 school year, because I'm going to name out a few states. They have had an increase in homeschool families. They're not hiding it. That's in Florida. Anybody, I don't mind nobody going to fact check what I say. I watch the news. In a few school districts in another state, they already had an increase in, it's like a whole nother battle. Okay, so in other states, they're saying, okay, we have kids missing school just due to homelessness. Clearly, it's a crisis. When I first started seeing articles about that, or maybe you had shortages of bus drivers, or shortage, you rarely hear like, oh, we have a shortage of custodians, or shortage of lunch ladies, or shortage of librarians. The main top careers within schools that you seen shortages was bus drivers, teachers. What else did I see there? Yeah, like you just don't hear it about every position in a school. You got to look at it all the way around. It seemed like they never have a shortage of principals and maybe the nurses too. I think I heard a few school districts were kind of like, not this year. I'm just saying, we're talking about, let's say just the past 5 years since the pandemic. Everybody's just been trying to get back, I guess, back on stable grounding. What I didn't like as a citizen, just kind of as an onlooking citizen of everything in society, I'm like, how did you see everybody survive a natural disaster with them called the COVID-19 pandemic? You sat there and watched everybody survive that. I don't care who you are. Not everybody survived it either. That's the thing I'm talking about. That's what you call a crisis. Okay? We have many of them we could be talking about today, but that's just what I'm speaking on. Like, okay, so you saw everybody survive that could. Let me add that word at the end of it. Why would you sit there and try to rush and put a time limit? I just don't agree with that. You don't put a time limit on when you feel like everybody's life should have went back to normal. That's weird. Well, everybody should be back working by now. Everybody should be back. That's crazy. Everybody's rent should be paid. Everybody's life should be right back how it was because the pandemic's not here. First of all, it just disappeared because a person came on the news saying COVID is now gone. Like, okay, that's all the confirmation we needed. It's been people still out there getting sick. And I don't know if it's COVID because the flu and colds and stuff have always existed. But I just was one of those that never believed. Like, okay, so the whole virus gone. And vaccines allegedly help to lessen the spread of the virus. That's what we're supposed to pretty much just accept. You know what I mean? Like, yep, well, we came on the news, we told y'all, we even got Bill Gates to tell y'all, COVID is gone. That doesn't necessarily mean that, though. I don't care if I'm a poor lady whose voice doesn't matter. It's still how I feel about it if my voice was listened to. You can't just say a virus is completely non-existent. Hell, cancer, AIDS, every other disease still exists, but COVID's gone? No, it's not. People probably still suffer from that sometimes, but let you try to come in a place and say, hey, I missed work because I had COVID last week. Or I think I got a whiff of COVID, so that's why I've been in my house. Actually, I'm not trying to get it. I actually don't trust that everybody said that it's gone. What if you were to bring your mind to the forefront like that? You don't have to agree with that. You're not out here hurting nobody. It's your opinion. You still the type of person to use a bunch of sanitizer, wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart, literally. Some of us are. Like, because you saw that big health scare crisis at that time. Okay? And why am I bringing this up? Why do you think so many families are transitioning to homeschool? Or don't you think they're forced to do that when they're forced to face homelessness? You see, that's a crisis. Regardless of how different families fall into those circumstances, when they are families with children, women, pregnant women especially, whether they have a man or not, this is how they probably asking themselves out there in the audience, like, so Now you're advocating for assistance? No, we're not even talking about assistance. We're talking about how is that okay for kids to miss school due to homelessness? If homelessness is not declared a crisis yet? I'm talking about many states already, news reports have already went out about it. They not getting on the bus, they absent from school, all that. Now, the schools, I would say they do care, but when you take it up to the school districts, all they can do is take the statistics in. This is new. How far in a crisis does it fall before we say, yeah, this is a problem? I don't care. Households with kids that have student status, even if they not kids, college kids, anybody in student status, yes, they should at least be qualifiable, in my opinion, if they can be on an income scale, at least once a year if they need some type of help with rent. That's how it would look, in my opinion, if it was finally declared a national crisis. Just homelessness, like declared a pandemic like anything else. It is another thing that can hurt people. It is another thing that people don't always bounce back from. It is another thing that people actually go missing and disappear. You don't see them no more just because they went through homelessness. That's why I shared that article yesterday. It was actually written 2 years ago. Not by me or nothing. I like to share articles all the time because I don't have time to tell everybody what's going on in the news or the kind of stuff I be seeing, but I just shared the article. Like, look how 2 whole years ago in a specific geographical and many specific geographical territories, they were already saying that homeless people was coming up missing. We're not finna play this game and everybody overlook it. It's a crisis then. How much more has to happen? The kids missing school due to homelessness. Homelessness tents are being swept up. People being given tickets. Okay, it's a crisis, right? Some people don't even survive it. Some people lose their whole identity while they out there somehow, just trying to get services and resources so they can get out of that situation. You see what I'm saying? So when do you declare that a crisis? Or you want to still keep making everybody's individual circumstances look coincidental? Because like statistics and percentages don't lie. It's just certain things that you can expect. Like, it's actually a reality, and it's like, because we want to be realists here at You Will Make It TV. It's a reality. You can go through any of the above I just named going homeless these days. Okay, and then you out there with children. You got people staying in storage units, hotel rooms. I understand the hotel and motel rooms. But that's been going on, I'm telling you, since the pandemic. So how can you put a time limit on when people were supposed to, quote unquote, got on their feet after something like a whole national emergency crisis pandemic had just happened here? People had lives they were living before the pandemic introduced herself, the COVID-19 pandemic. People had lives, stuff they was in the middle of, whether it was building a business, in the middle of a school degree. I know the first 2 I just named, I was actually doing for sure. Before they ever came on the news and said, national COVID pandemic, you had stuff you was already working on. I'ma just say it like this. And I know I wasn't the only one. It's called living your life. You were doing that before the pandemic. It didn't matter who you were. Somehow your life was affected or kind of knocked off balance a little bit when that happened, because different mandates, orders, and rules and all kind of stuff went into effect. And yes, it is unfortunate that you had nuts while the country was already struggling. Nuts, they wanted like, oh, this the perfect time to do stupid stuff. The country's struggling. And then say, what the hell, 5 years later, wondering why things look like it do right now. Where did people just, I understand where it was a pandemic, but did people just, oh, I'm exhausted, I'm tired. That's the time to fight when you're in a crisis. Because I've been in many of them. You ain't got to be a soldier or a frontline authority to understand when a state of crisis surrounds you or the next person. It seemed like we can all see when somebody else struggling or going through a crisis, but you would recognize that in your own life too, wouldn't you? I'm saying homelessness needs to be declared at some point here. We see all the big, beautiful bills, all the other stuff going into effect. Okay, but when you have a problem going on, because they saw that the COVID-19 was a problem, it went from people dying to suddenly, okay, everybody, it's gone. Here's some vaccines and stuff. Everybody wear your mask. We'll keep the spread down. Now, I believed in the mask too, I guess. It would never be my all in all, what you put faith in. A piece of medicine, an injection. Why would I believe in that stuff more than God? Ever. Why? But we're supposed to be the crazy nuts who believe in healing and holistic ways to gather yourself and heal from the inside out. You're supposed to be a crazy nut, though. But I wouldn't be a crazy nut if I believe in pills and vaccines and cough syrups, which there's nothing wrong with that stuff. Because didn't y'all just see that? The kids are really under attack spiritually to me around this nation. When they come on the news and say, yeah, y'all, we admit that Tylenol might have contributed to autism. What does that do? Open up more doors for lawsuits? Is this just going to be the age of lawsuits, dude? When we all could have just been paying attention, a crisis is not a time to, oh, we're going to relax and just see how many fall by the wayside. That's the point of declaring it a crisis. Even if I don't care if it's in my own life. If I got to blow the horn, hey, crisis, I don't mind at any time. Because since when did we lay down and take a nap and fall asleep and relax in the state of a crisis? I know that's what I probably looked like on the outside looking in. No, actually, in a lot of areas of my life, I saw it was crisis level. So I went ahead and went in crisis mode. What you mean? But it's like, oh, you wrong. If we ain't declared it a crisis, it ain't a crisis. Well, if we're going to play like that as a country, you don't need somebody to tell you when you're experiencing a crisis. When you feel like, oh, no, this is going way down slope from what I'm used to, or this looks way outside of the norm, or like clearly if COVID-19 could be declared a crisis, like we didn't get no say so in it. They just came on the news and started telling everybody it's a crisis. We the people got no say so, and no, we don't think this is a crisis. We think we should keep going to work and not get vaccines and not wear masks. We didn't get no say so in it. It's making me pay attention and be aware in this way. Like, okay, so a crisis is only declared and taken serious when certain people in certain seats and positions will be ready to answer. Just like they've been having to do. Like, oh, okay, how much money did y'all make from the vaccines? Like, now people have questions. Because you wanted to rush when you felt like people should go back to a normal state after something so devastating. And I don't care if it was the whole nation or it's one person in a crisis. Since when was a crisis like slept on? You understand where Arthur Tetasheri is coming from? Since when? Since when did we have time to like, oh, we can put this on the back burner and it's a whole damn crisis? I believe God, the angels, the whole spiritual realm backs me up with what I'm saying when it comes to the truth. Like, since when? They probably even been like, I mean, they're not even walking in the same dimension in the land of the living no more. They on the other side crossed over and they see that's crazy. Like, since when? Even when they was alive back then, when a crisis is going on, it's always reported everywhere. Like, that's how big a crisis has always been. There's people on the other side of the world right now surviving typhoons, surviving big, weird weather disasters, while we just carry on talking about, well, over here is, until we call it a crisis, it's not. Humanity got to get off of that. Like, what has happened to us when we don't know what's a crisis no more? Maybe they're slow to declare these crisis states levels of security, because that would mean when something is in crisis state or level, usually things are done. The people get help. It's a crisis. To me, that's why they be slow to say a thing is a problem. No, it ain't a problem. It's just them. It's their individual characters and their individual choices and their individual. How was it people's individual choices and characters and personalities during a, let me try not to cuss, a freaking COVID pandemic 19 crisis? If I'm not mistaken, this was facing the whole world too. Yeah, it was definitely considered a crisis. Okay. And this went on for what, 2.5 years? Oh, okay. So now you said, well, we gave you all this assistance during the crisis. We should have seen y'all doing better. Like it just seemed like some type of big joke. And God forbid there's really people somewhere sitting up laughing. It's stupid. Just accept the truth. You had people that turned into Patrick the Star and went under rocks and started doing stupid stuff while the country was in a crisis. Okay, so you want to be the big tough guys who ignore crisis. That's cool. But you can't like try to run from the backlash of it when it starts to show. That's stupid. Like you just make it about, oh no, it's just who they are or how they are. How? Who we none of us over here created a whole global pandemic, dude. Dude and dudettes. We didn't and that was still a crisis. None of the people citizens sat there and created Hurricane Katrina. You see what I'm saying? A crisis is something that naturally kind of occurred, literally. It's usually bigger than the people that are the victims of the crisis. So you investigate and research and scroll through, well, what all happened that led to this crisis? And then you think you're just going to judge that. How about we look at as a society, if we can first get to the understanding of like what's a crisis versus just a temporary setback. Because COVID-19 pandemic was not a temporary setback. That right there lasted at least 2.5 years in itself. Plus you've had national weather disasters, literally. In the past 5 years, lots of them all over the country. If I was a leader, I would have been declared this a crisis. Hey, from the weather to homelessness to crime, we're in a crisis. But maybe they can't announce it that way. It's like, look how they came. No, we just gonna start making the changes. But no, God forbid us, you know what I'm saying, label it a crisis. Because see, then we would have to start actually looking into these crises, opening up applications and stuff for people to get help. It's like you would actually have to do something about it. That's crazy, bro. So you see more people are homeschooling. That back to what I was saying. It's already on the news. More people are doing it. Even college students. They're not going to the universities like they used to. Don't get me wrong, they're there. The presence is definitely strongly there. But yeah, if they can try to pursue a degree online from home and still work 2 jobs these days to keep up with the economy, that's what they've been doing. Everybody don't sit there in classrooms and stuff like that no more. How you gonna say, oh, it's the age of, you want us to accept everything else modern, but play with us when it comes to our kids' education? That's also been modernized, literally. And there's nothing modern about homeschool, really. That's, if anything, that's more historical. School systems ain't been around forever. They had more people. It just depends on what culture, what side of the world you're from, but it's never been uncommon to like study from home. Any age, any part of the world. I hope so far this commentary reaction has been a little insightful to the collective out there. You guys still feel free. I just be saying my reactions, my opinions, but you can leave your own in the chat. Okay? But once again, you feeling like, oh, I'm not a part of that crisis, or that crisis is not affecting me. Like, I'm sure the COVID-19 pandemic did not affect everybody the same way. I was just saying the majority, though, across this whole globe, was life haven't been the same since that happened. That's where people feel like, oh, leadership is a little insensitive lately, literally. Like maybe just a little insensitive to sit there and play like all that didn't just happen. And some of these states have incurred national weather things, some of these weather disasters like these homes and stuff that burn in California. People don't bounce back from stuff like that. It might take them a year or two. And that's just one crisis. Imagine going through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 back-to-back crises a year since the pandemic happened. Imagine that. Imagine that. Just take a second, take a deep breath, and just imagine. Because that probably didn't happen to everybody. It's not even normal. Because one, like I said, one major crisis can set you back for how long? Was there emotional trauma incurred? Was there physical trauma incurred? Was there mental health? Like, come on now, if you put a person through back to back to back to back crisis and never declare it as a crisis, what are you doing? You look like the fool, because if it was really a crisis, that's not something that just like you can ignore and then like it ain't went away yet. Many people ask that with the COVID-19 pandemic too. Like, man, this ain't over yet. No, it's not. A national, a serious crisis, something that's really a crisis. That's the thing about it. It doesn't just go away on its own. That's why you start seeing different departments, organizations, businesses get to work. You just like, when have we just rolled over and accept a crisis? At that point, who are you defeating? Like yourself, the people, other people? You go into crisis mode. Crisis mode might look like relocation, new job. Literally. You think people stayed at the same job during the whole pandemic? No, they didn't. Some were promoted, some worked from home, some were laid off. And who is any human to say, well, no, your life should be together by now? Well, we definitely got to look at those crises. Those back to back, that's like just saying, okay, yeah, we're expertise in studying you in the event of a crisis that we won't declare as a crisis. It doesn't matter if you're the big guys who say, no, we don't see that as a crisis. If that person do, you got a problem. If they can actually prove that something was a crisis, and come on, bro, I don't care who it is. You can call them dramatic, whatever you want to, but a crisis is usually pretty much full of drama. Just look at the COVID-19 pandemic. See, the devil is quick to release stuff on people, but it's like, okay, he's not exempt from like answering for what he do either. Even the devil declared COVID-19 pandemic a crisis. Everybody knew about that. It had been a long time in the world since some virus was spreading all over the globe. All over the globe? That wasn't just a national crisis. Like the whole world felt it. The whole world's economy, the whole world felt it. I guess these changes here we see today are just ever going. I'm just saying people should consider that. I don't care what seat they sit in. You know why people couldn't make me feel bad in a year like 2025 with negative rumors and talks and stupid stuff? Because literally, all I can do is like overlook that the best I can, because literally we were all in the same ship during the pandemic. It's just not a time of history I'm going to ever forget. I saw it with my own eyes. Everybody, nobody was greater than the next person when that was going on. And I'm not going to be one of those people who cannot accept the truth and say, that didn't really happen. I didn't see that. It's over now. Really. That was a whole learning lesson. The pandemic, it was just it taught you a lot about life. Like, wow, this is all over the world. Everybody was tuned in to the CDC. Everybody was tuned in to the news. The doctors and nurses and stuff were exhausted, working double shifts. Like, they're not just going to forget that because a few years have passed by. Yeah. Nobody finna forget what they went through and it was a whole crisis. No. So it's like a word of inspiration too. It's like you don't want to label the wrong things a crisis that's just a temporary setback, like something that's If not avoidable, definitely preventable is the same thing, but maybe definitely plans set in place, especially for those temporary short-term things you can just fix. Look at a car. Nobody lets their motor overheat all day. Eventually you're going to fix it, or it's a crisis, because the longer you let it go on, the shorter time span that car has to live and even drive and work for you. If you don't fix something, that's anything that could be just fixed. Some things can just be fixed, but it's so bad that if you don't, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think we need more preventative causes for. You know, it's not about being lazy or being able to lean on something as a cushion, as some people, the way they think. Like, oh no, they want this stuff to be in place so they can depend on it. Yeah, what you can depend on short term or temporary, that's never been an issue until lately. You know what? To me, the ones who pocket watch the most are the ones trying to hide theirs. And they really think they be hiding it by watching your pockets. Don't you know watching somebody else's pockets is like a whole sign of you're trying to hide your own? And like, if that's the case, what is there to hide? I don't care, because if you're not an accountant or some field of work where you should even be doing it, it's just like, what is there to hide about your own pockets? I've never sized a person up in that way, like, okay, I got to see how much money you make before I respect you. I'm glad I'm not that kind of person. I've never been anything close to a gold digger. Sometimes you just look a certain way and people expected you to have a certain mindset, or anyways, I'm okay, God. I'm okay to be God's canvas. Like another story in the world where, because what I'm giving words of inspiration to those families that might be having to stand up for their kids in that way in these school districts that were on the news. It gives us hope, actually, because like nobody should be making you feel like using a position in secret to make you feel like you can't speak up for your child. It was some parents didn't like the mask mandates because maybe their kids already had asthma or other things they deal with. So there was nothing wrong with going to get a doctor's opinion about that, a second opinion. Like, from what I'm saying, it's just easy to trap people who have no knowledge of their options. If they're used to doing the same thing the same way over and over again, and you throw a wrench in the way that they're used to doing things over and over again, of course you're going to throw that person off path. They don't know any other option. Now they feel like it's the end of their, oh, well, there was a wrench thrown in my plan. There's nothing else I can do. That's what that's what people be expecting you to say in your heart. Like, maybe out my mouth, not in my heart. There is always another way. And this, you want us to believe in modern iPhones, modern AI, modern everything else. Okay, well, education systems have also been modernized. That's another thing that's modern. Education. Parents' rights to whether they want to do homeschool or not. If you come with very valid paperwork or something like, no, this student just absolutely have to be at school. Well, maybe some people just believe in more security for the schools. Everybody child ain't anybody. That's another thing. Look at all the, I think this is something that needs to be brought to school districts' attention though. I never thought about that. If education systems are more modernized, that's great to see them put up those guards a little bit and say no more phones in school and stuff like that. But I'm not saying it's too late. It's just like, why didn't they think of that at the beginning? Because all you're doing is allowing social media and everybody on there inside your school. That's been going on, even if you ban phones all of a sudden. Okay. So everything's modernized with schools. Like, they use every modernized technology in there, but don't want you to be a modern parent and know your modern options and right to how you want to school your child. So I'm trying to explain to people what's probably been going on in these school systems. The old school way, some of these teachers are older in age, and it's like you love an experienced person in any career, but sometimes the most experienced get so arrogant. We're just praying for people, literally. You will make it TV, I really am. Because that's what I love about opening my heart a little more to understanding matters before I just have an initial reaction to it on an emotional level. It really is a very wise thing to do. Like, try to see the perspective of other people. To say you don't have time to do that is saying you don't have time for your own future. Because how you just supposed to get by being arrogant? Oh, I've been doing this job 25 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So nobody can tell me nothing. I'm going to say this for the record. I have experienced people like that. See, you probably had to heal from stuff like that too. Whether it took a day, a week, a year, a month, it's okay. Because like they said, sticks and stones will break my bones. Words will never hurt me type of deal. But see, when you are experienced in fields like that, you can easily break people with your words because of how experienced you are. They didn't expect you to come at them like that. Yes, I don't know where the schools have gotten off on the wrong foot, but yeah, they do have a right to say what's the best options for their children. What's wrong with people? Do they still offer? Because they definitely exist. It's called an education plan. You know what I mean? Like, because they know all kids learn on a different spectrum or pace, or they might be going through something. What disappointed me, some of them be just so ready to disenroll them before we even putting a plan together, or maybe because the teachers are going through their own stresses and struggles. But they are quick to say, yeah, the kids are doing worse, their grades are worse, and their behavior is bad at all the schools. But see, look at yourself too. Do you still sit down and take the time out with parents to put these plans together that used to exist? Whether it's an education plan, whatever plan they need, transportation plan, homeless advocation plan, because that's what McKinney veto is about. There's always been options, and the school was the first people that have access to those resources. You know, if you want to see less people homeschooling, what you get mad at the American people for? You fix your part, or we come together. That's the thing. It shouldn't be a divide ever, like staff, teachers, and everybody against the parents and parents against them. Like, no, that's not the American way. It's just not. When you think of the American way, we got past that years ago. Staff and these hierarchies, but I don't know, people feel them as necessary. But hierarchies can get so arrogant, bro. Like, no, listen to the people. If they see state of crisis going on and different things going on that's affecting several families, how many families does it have to be affecting before you go ahead and say, yeah, this is a crisis? We finna go ahead and you know what I'm saying, declare this as such, put these resources out here for the families. Of course not. See, they can be as political as they'd like to be, anybody, with their political opinions or their regular opinions. But now, it's just a basic question. How many things have to happen to different people? Let's say it's the same thing. Because that's another thing that's prevalent today. Even the schools see it. Like, more kids are... Like, when I heard some kids talking about it, because I just agreed with them. I said, yeah, even back when we was in school, it's crazy. Kids were already talking about, like, sex. Literally, sex, sex, at an early age. This was before the LGBT community movement rights and all of that. Kids were already just very... educated, very familiar with just certain things they shouldn't have been talking about that. I even knew that in school back then. So yes, even in modern day times, you can be doing everything right that you possibly can be doing, And those influences rub off on your kids. They just don't want us telling our stories. Literally, you can move to a whole new location. That would mean it's new people, new culture, new way of doing things for your kids at that school district. And one wrong influence, just one, can affect that child's life for the rest of their life. This is how serious it is. We might as well stop downplaying it. Like, you just see your child behavior do a whole 360 change or something. You know what I'm saying? That would mean it was an influence at that school. If you know you're doing everything right at home, trying to keep them in church, you praying at home, because I got experience on both sides. That's why I know people can try to squeeze in my shoes, but it's a way, it's a reason you earned your position, your stance, and how you come with your opinions. I've lived both lives, holy roller and more relaxed, just being myself. I live both sides, but either way, you always doing the best you can for your kids when it comes to the home life. And it's like they gather these different staffs to throw opinions. Well, yeah, her coach said this. Her spelling teacher said the same thing. The nurse said this. Yeah, so we put all our conclusions together, and we think that we should just continue to give this child and their family a hard time. Like, that's not the mentality that you should have with that kind of power. From now on, when they get reports, before a person can even report something, they should be able to also report where they offered help, where they looked for solutions. It's usually not common that you wash your hands away with something unless you can prove you had tried to clean the hands. I don't know how to, you notice the hands needed to be clean, but since when is the first step to just wash your hands with a person? That's the very first step you could think of, type of deal. So I don't know what the future of education will look like in America, but I know that I don't blame it on any particular thing personally. I just think that the country has been through so many back-to-back crises, because see, a crisis in one state might not be going on in another, but see, there has been these different random crises all at the same time. Now, that part can't be denied. You see what I'm saying? It might not happen in every state at the same time, but every state is slowly and progressively going through their own set of crisis. It's crazy. Like, some places have a worse drug problem in the streets or whatever. Some places have just low school stores, or it's the farms and the weather. The economy part, that's with everybody, because there are a lot of transitions happening with the economy no matter where you go. But yeah, I thought this would be an informative topic, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, I hope those families see a win, actually, because schools need to understand that you have no business harassing, hounding down, stalking, watching a family that have already disenrolled their children from your facility to go on a path of homeschool. Like, did you plan on helping them or something? They better have a good answer in court. Like, what was your reasoning if a kid is already, the kid said homeschool is a better fit? Because that's the number one on my list. Like, oh, you think schools are dangerous? Yeah, it's been statistically proven bullying has gotten worse, both in real time and on social media, even in the world of children. And bullying usually persists. Like, some people just be like, oh, hurt people. Yeah, let's talk about how bullying gets occurred. Sometimes it's also because you won't do something somebody wants you to do. And it's just like how the school's looking now. That's just your position. Your job description when you sign up as a staff at a school is not to be trying to dictate what you think a parent should do. Now, you can offer suggestions and maybe resources, and at least you look good. If it's ever brought to you, hey, what happened with this student? Well, I don't know, but I offered mom and dad this or that, or I offered the student this option. I bet they don't even be coming with it. They just come with straight, reasons that they felt like, because if you have those reasons, once again, where did you offer help? To me, they shouldn't be able to report nothing until you have proof of that too. It's like you got to go above people's head with it. Like, oh, okay, since you want to report somebody, the law has changed. You now have to prove you tried to offer help where you saw the damn problem before you call us with the dumbass report. It's like, how nicer do you say it? You got people wasting their time looking at stuff that could have just been like temporary fix, literally. Like, oh, this family they got this 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 1 year ago. This whole bigger crisis could have been prevented. Like, how many cases and stories are they saying that with? Why is it so much persistent and delays? To me, that would help a lot with the time that's invested in get around to the family, do what you need to do. But yeah, what are they? Because this state that this story came out of, it's actually not legally, what is that called? Like, it's not legally recommended or required. That's the word I was looking for. The state does not require that they show proof of a diploma. It said the social worker or something, the CPS worker was trying to make the family show proof of, just records, I guess, or proof that the kid is actually doing their work at home. In this particular state, I believe this story, it might have been out of Minneapolis. It was somewhere, Indiana. But yeah, everybody homeschool state laws are different. Everybody's state, okay? And it's crazy how we, the people, I think we're doing a great job. If you have your own authorities going to look into the law just to see how they can like bend it to get at you. It's stupid. It's really stupid. So don't get mad when the civilians are out here studying the law more too. They have always had rights. They have rights. They have a voice. They have free speech, all that. You want people to be in your facilities. You say the parents need to be more involved, but with some of our experiences, it didn't do anything but irritate the hell out of the school. You calling so much. You asking so many questions. You sending back-to-back emails. You attending the meetings and conferences, but maybe it was like what you were requesting or what you were advising or what you were asking for. You're not just going to sit here and make all the parents look like, yeah, they not active in their kids' life. No, when they was active, how were they being treated? Literally, at the schools. How was the staff responding? Like, don't get on Freeze Street, freeze and stuck, and choking on your words when it come time for you to answer about, you know what I'm saying, where you could have been a help to a family before you use your power to just like, I don't know what, try to turn a person's world upside down. Yeah, that is creepy. I'm glad those parents are speaking up about it. Why would you need to continue to follow a child just because they're and you saw their parent active in their life, they was just enrolled at your school, they simply make a decision, oh, we're going to homeschool, and you okay, this is a reason to follow them and harass them and study them. Like, what? Shouldn't you be busy at the school making sure those kids are okay at home too? Because I think most parents know how to call for help when that's what they need. Now, I do agree with some kind of system being formed. They should do that. Like I said, like maybe even though they're homeschooled, you're calling and checking in on the families every 45 days, 30 days, however often it needs to be. Then you can't just say, oh, we was worried about a kid because they're homeschooled. Because now you would have records that you're doing home checks or you're doing calls to check in on the families that are even homeschool families. It is a good suggestion, guys, that I thought I would put out there in the air. Now, right now, though, there's no law. There's no like system where they have in a lot of states where there's a follow-up that the district does with the homeschool students. I think that's the whole breakage in that system, or it is one glitch. So these kids just be withdrawal, going to online homeschool programs, and you never check on them again. But you're secretly doing reports and working together with different agencies. I mean, if that's to help the family, that's understandable. But if it's just oh, we feel like they're in danger, but you ain't got not one piece of sheet of record that you tried to help that family, that looks a little suspect. No wonder these families are starting to take more school districts to court. More people are checking on their kids. Parents have always did that. Like, hey, how was your day? And you got a lot of these staff that get offended at your kid for telling the truth. Maybe their day wasn't so well. Maybe something happened between one teacher and another kid, or with them directly in a staff. So they could tell their parent about that. Every parent asks their kid, how was your day at school? You kind of be done a little bit when you saw that years ago. Like, teachers act like they have a problem because you calling back confirming, trying to see what went on. Like, ma'am, my daughter says she didn't get her lunchbox. Is there a problem? Because I dropped it off up there. You know, the lady says she's going to bring it to the classroom. If you act like you got an attitude because my daughter cried about it, just stuff like that. Like, bro, that's a kid. You act like you don't understand. Yeah, y'all can get drugged to court. You're just like the celebrities. You can be questioned. And what's up with you? Because why are you working at a place where the children cannot be themselves? Because being yourself is not realistic. Like, you just happy and jolly every day. You do have some people like that. But, you know, maybe you come to school tired some days. Maybe you're a little depressed. Maybe your knees hurting. That's what the nurse is for. Stop just making it like, this child was so unbearable, we had to kick them and their mama after school. Like, how lazy of a perception as well to try to put on parents to cover up that you're actually not meeting them in the middle where you could be as much as you could be. But you can meet them in the middle with some damn reports. And then you want to get offended when more parents are homeschooling. It's not your business. You're not the teacher no more, right? You don't want to be responsible with the school district and everybody with answering questions about why you couldn't meet a particular student's needs, their educational needs, mental health needs, whatever it is. Okay, that's a lazy way to put it on the parent, boy. Because most schools do have those resources available. Why are you trying to hide them from certain parents? But the immigrant parents was getting all kind of resources and help. To be honest, they're going to make sure they in the class to learn English. They're going to make sure they have transportation, everything. And it's like all the ones, because I don't know what race these parents are that are actually suing right now. They're probably all kind of different races, but for black parents, it's just we're not going to play like that doesn't happen to black people either. Maybe people have been waiting on me to more like speak up about it. Like, what is your experience as a black woman? It really is different. You could even be a pretty black woman. They'll say, well, you got pretty privilege. Not really, because if you're black, you never just have the ultimate privilege. Unless it comes from God Almighty, because there are still people out here that will dislike you for that alone, and they want to, oh, she's using the race card, and I will when I feel like it's necessary. We're not going to sit here and play like that issue is non-existent, because black kids have stories to tell too. They sure do. Why you don't want to hear from them? That should be your question. Why you don't want to hear from the children? Oh, honey, we'll listen. I don't know, like they will, I guess, because I've been right there in conferences and meetings and stuff where they will try to listen to what the kids say. But see, now you're putting the kid on spot. Like, now, what did you tell your mama? That's not even a comfortable, like, who trained you? You gonna put her on spot. Now, what was it? Dang, if the kid felt comfortable talking to you, obviously, whatever incident it was, she would have been talking to you that day. They want to pretend, no, I'm a jolly person. I don't know why her child felt like she couldn't talk to me, because you will say that in your family at home at Thanksgiving dinners and around the Christmas tree. Oh, kids are special. They can sense stuff. But when we sense it at the schools, it's a problem. And the mom's crazy. The parents are crazy. We're crazy. We're just hard to deal with. We always bring problems to the school. But any other time you believe kids are gifted during the holidays and on TikTok, yeah, they are, though. I believe they are. What do they always say? Animals and babies are like the most sensitive people of the world. They can pick up on weird energies. Okay. It's like I'm answering some of my own deep-rooted questions doing this topic today. Maybe teachers don't like that. They know that, but you shouldn't take that job knowing that kids can feel ugly energy. That's just not gonna lie. Like, for generations, people have believed kids and animals can feel when something ain't right. So now you wanna maybe you do have an agenda, so you need them kind of kids out the way. You know, it's really sad, but it's real to think about. Like, no, we need them kind of kids out the way that sense when we ain't right. No, you need to be moved up. Why is you even working at the school? Because if ain't nothing wrong with you, it ain't nothing negative to pick up on you about. I haven't had many in my lifetime. Not a lot. That's what made a lot of this a telltale sign with my story. You ain't even had other kids to ever come and say nothing negative about you coming at them wrong. Me personally, So I'm just saying, all the devil could try to get close to and use and manipulate was my own. You mean to tell me, but no other kids have ever just, yeah, Mom, I think Miss Sherry, Miss Whitney needs to be looked into. The kids used to draw me pictures. Literally, we used to have fun. They'd be like, Miss, you coming back tomorrow? You know what I mean? Because, like, what did I say? Kids ain't gonna lie. They gonna feel that energy when a teacher was cool. I don't care if it's a substitute, a daycare teacher. Y'all can be mad all you want to. These are the facts. Babies and animals could always feel negative, dark energy when it's prevalent. They can see ghosts. They can see angels. Some people believe newborns see angels because they be smiling in their sleep. Oh, but you don't want to bring those beliefs to the daycares and schools. All the teachers need to get an understanding. Kids, them babies y'all work with, oh yeah, they're spiritually gifted. They always have been. They're closer to heaven. They're closer to God because they were just there not that long ago. So they can pick up on stuff. All right, y'all. I'll be back with part 2 because this segment done already went an hour long. We do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe, and share any of our segments. These are free ways you can show your support. If you'd like to be a donor or contributor, it's not the You Will Make It TV birthday. It's my personal birthday. If you want to be a blessing, no matter how small or great, guys, it's $ poetic quote. Also, we encourage you to go check out some of our most recently recorded inspirational quotes anytime. We do share them weekly because maybe you can't sit around and listen to these long live streams. We understand they're not for everybody, these discussion topics, but you can always, our shorts, those are for people on the go who need a little inspiration and they keep it moving. All right. Thank you guys, and until next time.